There could be contract trouble brewing between the Washington Commanders and their star wide receiver Terry McLaurin, and although no official confirmation has been provided by the team or the player, the NFL world is beginning to take notice. According to Fox Sports insider Jordan Schultz, McLaurin was notably absent from practice with the Commanders this Wednesday, despite having previously taken part in the team's voluntary off-season workouts. The timing of the absence, combined with the context of his contract situation, has sparked speculation across the league that McLaurin could be initiating a subtle holdout as he enters the final year of his current deal. McLaurin, who turns 30 this coming September, is wrapping up a 3-year, $68 million contract extension signed back in 2022. Though the deal was seen at the time as a fair value agreement for a player of McLaurin's caliber, the wide receiver market has since exploded with new benchmarks being set almost every offseason. Players like A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Tyreek Hill have helped redefine what veracity should command on the open market, and McLaurin, who has delivered consistent, elite-level production despite poor quarterback play for most of his career, is clearly positioned to seek another payday. And frankly, if that's his intention, no one could blame him. Through 5 NFL seasons, Terry McLaurin has proven himself to be one of the most reliable and dynamic wide receivers in the game. He's posted 5 consecutive 1,000-yard campaigns despite catching passes from a revolving door of quarterbacks. From Taylor Heinicke to Carson Wentz to Sam Howell, McLaurin has continued to shine regardless of the instability at the position. Now, with the Commanders finally landing a potential franchise quarterback in rookie Jayden Daniels, McLaurin likely sees the opportunity to not only cash in financially but to finally enjoy the type of offensive consistency that has eluded him throughout his career. That's part of what makes this potential contract dispute so intriguing. With Daniels on a rookie deal, Washington should theoretically have the cap space and the motivation to get something done with McLaurin. Locking him up now would ensure that Daniels has a proven WR1 to rely on for the foreseeable future, helping accelerate his development and giving the Commanders' offense a stable foundation. However, if McLaurin's absence is indeed contract-related, and if talks between him and the team become contentious, it opens a Pandora's box of possibilities that could reshape the 2025 season for several franchises, especially the Pittsburgh Steelers. While most around the league believe a McLaurin trade is highly unlikely, that hasn't stopped analysts from identifying potential suitors should the Commanders be forced to entertain offers. One such analyst is Steelers Now's Alan Saunders, who speculated earlier this week that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a logical and eager landing spot if McLaurin hits the trade block. Should negotiations between McLaurin and the Commanders turn contentious, the Steelers would assuredly love to become a trade landing spot for the former Ohio State star, Saunders wrote. Saunders is hardly alone in that assessment. It's not difficult to connect the dots between Pittsburgh's current receiver needs and McLaurin's proven ability to be a game-changer. After trading George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys earlier this offseason, the Steelers' wide receiver room is once again in transition. Yes, they acquired DK Metcalf in a blockbuster deal with the Seattle Seahawks, and yes, they added veteran Robert Woods in free agency. But behind Metcalf, the group is full of question marks. Roman Wilson, a 2024 third-round pick, has potential but remains unproven after spending most of his rookie year on the injured list. Robert Woods, once a dependable WR2, is clearly past his prime and offers little more than veteran leadership and short yardage consistency. Calvin Austin III, while explosive in space, is best suited for gadget plays or slot responsibilities. He is not someone who should be counted on as a full-time outside receiver. This leaves Pittsburgh dangerously thin at wideout. And in today's NFL, where explosive passing offenses dominate, having just one true WR1 isn't enough. That's where McLaurin would fit perfectly. In McLaurin, the Steelers would gain a receiver who can line up anywhere on the field, beat press coverage, stretch the defense vertically, and dominate in contested catch situations. He's a technician with his route running, a threat after the catch, and has the intangibles, leadership, humility, work ethic, that mesh well with the type of locker room Mike Tomlin has built over the years. Moreover, Pairing McLaurin with Metcalf would give Pittsburgh one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league. Imagine Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, or even Will Howard stepping into a huddle and seeing McLaurin on one side of the formation and Metcalf on the other. That kind of pairing would open up the field in ways Pittsburgh hasn't seen since the prime days of Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. With Pat Freiermuth at tight end and Jaylen Warren in the backfield, the offense would suddenly transform from limited and predictable to dangerous and multidimensional. But alas, as exciting as that scenario sounds, the reality is more complicated. As Saunders and others have rightly pointed out, the odds of Washington actually trading McLaurin remain slim. The Commanders are a team on the rise. With new ownership, a new coaching staff, and a potentially transformative quarterback in Jaden Daniels, they have no reason to move their most reliable offensive weapon, especially one who still has several productive years ahead of him. Furthermore, the fan backlash to such a move would be enormous. McLaurin is beloved in Washington. He's been the one constant in a sea of change and dysfunction. Trading him now, just as the franchise is finally turning a corner, would send the wrong message to both fans and players alike. That said, NFL history has shown us time and again that anything is possible. If McLaurin digs in on his contract demands, and if Washington refuses to meet them, the team could find itself backed into a corner. In such a scenario, a trade becomes a matter of asset management, getting something in return rather than losing him for nothing next offseason. And if that happens, the Steelers need to be at the front of the line. They have the draft capital to make a competitive offer, including multiple day 2 picks over the next 2 years. They have a win-now mindset after investing heavily in free agents and trades this offseason. And they have a glaring need that McLaurin could fill perfectly. It's also worth noting that adding McLaurin wouldn't just help the offense, it would stabilize the quarterback position. Whoever ends up starting for the Steelers in 2025 will need reliable targets. Metcalf is a game-breaker, but he's best used on vertical routes and back-shoulder throws. McLaurin, on the other hand, can win on slants, digs, comebacks. He does the dirty work over the middle. Together, they would create balance. And that balance is exactly what Pittsburgh needs to get back to competing for AFC supremacy. In the end, whether McLaurin ends up being traded or not may depend on the next few weeks. If he shows up to mandatory minicamp and participates fully, this could all blow over. But if he holds out, if the sides begin negotiating through the media, and if frustration starts to mount, then all bets are off. The Steelers, having already shown their willingness to take bold action, should be ready to pounce. Because sometimes, championship windows open for just a moment. And when they do, the great organizations are the ones who seize them. McLaurin to Pittsburgh? It's a long shot. But it's also the kind of move that could change everything.